Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Broadway Jets podcast or YouTube channel. You'll know me from Twitter as NYJ Mike. I'm joined as always by the master of receipts, NYJ Matt. And Matt, the Jets have a visit with free agent quarterback Derek Carr this weekend.
It's big news. A lot of people are happy about it. A lot of people that are pro Aaron Rodgers are pushing back on it. We'll talk about it all. But hey, if you are here, don't forget to hit subscribe. We're growing better than I thought we would, up to over 300 subscribers now. So if you are listening or watching, don't forget to hit subscribe. But Mike, it's a win-win. I don't know how anyone can look at Derek Carr visiting this weekend as a negative, but there's people online that truly, truly want Aaron Rodgers so bad that they don't even want them to look at another quarterback. And I just have to disagree with that take.
It's interesting. It's very interesting. You're right. It is a win-win. The problem is if the Jets on that side of things, if the Jets, to be clear, Derek Carr is probably the second best free agent quarterback in the history of football in terms of age, talent, behind Kirk Cousins.
It doesn't happen often. It does not happen often.
There's not many 31, 32-year-old quarterbacks in their prime throwing for 4,000 yards a year who are free agents. Really, really, very much does not happen in the league. So if you do go sign Derek Carr, it's obviously a good thing. The Jets will have their quarterback for 5 years. They'll be very competitive. PFF had the Jets with the number one defense last year. You have all these young weapons. Derek Carr would be awesome. Now, the problem is if you go get Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers comes out of his ridiculous darkness and he's like, I want to go play for the Jets. I want to go do this, blah, blah, blah. And someone else trades not so much capital for him. And you're like, Jesus Christ.
Can I throw a counterpoint to that argument?
Yeah.
I know Aaron Rodgers is a unique guy. I feel like the Jets have to know right now if they either have a decent to good shot or not at all. I'm not saying they have to know if they're automatically going to get him, because we are very much pro if you can get Aaron Rodgers, that is your 1A option.
I don't know.
However,
I don't know. If I don't know if the Jets know anything. That's the problem. If the Jets know,
then it's really bad. If the Jets hire the two guys that have ties to him, one was his offensive coordinator, and they have no idea if they are in the spot where he's going to retire or stay in Green Bay, you have to go get Derek Carr. The only way, though, if they sign Derek Carr, which I don't think they'll do, if they sign Derek Carr next Monday, for example, and Rodgers comes out and gets traded to the Raiders or maybe the Titans, I'm going to live under the assumption that the Jets knew that Rodgers wanted to move out, but he didn't want to go to the New York Jets.
I'm hoping, but we don't know that. What if the Jets are like, yo, Nathaniel Hackett, you were his offensive coordinator for a couple of years. What do you think he's going to do? He's like, I think he's not going to retire, but I don't know. Maybe he's going to do a lot of drugs in this little hut, and then we don't know.
Then the Jets are wrong. Then in that instance they're wrong. In a doomsday scenario where Aaron Rodgers goes on Pat McAfee after being traded to the Titans and saying, "Hey, I would have loved to play for the Jets. They weren't interested."
I can't handle it.
That in that scenario, we can set ourselves on fire live on YouTube. That's fine. Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen though. Again, I don't. We all know the terrible scenario where they don't sign Carr. Carr goes to Carolina or the Saints, and then Rodgers stays put, retires, or goes elsewhere, and then you're left, alone at the altar, and you don't want that to happen. So what you have to do is legally or illegally tamper, know where you're at with both these guys, and I'm really, really hoping that by Tuesday, Aaron Rodgers will come out of the dark room, know where he wants to go or what he wants to do, and the Jets can make an aggressive move after him.
I hope so. It's just scary. It's weird. It's just weird timing. It's weird that Carr is coming now. Rodgers is still literally in the dark, and you just don't know. I hope that you're right and the Jets know more than the public thinks anybody knows.
But they might not know a lot either, though. They might not know a lot, but the argument is they have to know enough to either go after Carr very aggressively or kick the tires. Because if they think there's a good shot based on what they have in Nathaniel Hackett, what they've heard, they've talked to the Packers GM already. I'm sure they've talked to the agent already. If there's like positive vibes there, then you can't go out and get Carr immediately, right? You don't want to do it, jump the gun too quickly, because then you could miss out on Aaron Rodgers, which Carr, it's not a guaranteed playoff make. I think they would be a betting favorite to make the wild card
for
if they had
sure.
Derek Carr. But if you have Rodgers, you don't go from the playoff. You go to we're
Super
going to
Bowl
play
contender.
potentially in the AFC Championship game. So that's why you can't make that leap too soon. But people on Twitter are ready to kill someone. Like there's like a 10%, probably 20% population that are like, fuck, we don't want Derek Carr. We only want Aaron Rodgers.
Right, and I'm closer to that than you'd think,
Mm-hmm.
but of course, acknowledging the fact that Derek Carr is one of the better second option to play quarterback on your team in the history of the sport in an offseason. Like if you're gonna say, I want Aaron Rodgers, oh, our backup plan is Derek Carr. That's an unbelievable backup plan. I'm just very nervous. I don't like the timing of it. Carr knows what's happening, so it's not. If the Jets are like, "Hey, great visit," and then see ya,
Yeah.
and he goes somewhere else, he's gonna get pissed. He's gonna go sign somewhere else who really wants him as their number one option.
Very fair. And the timeline is terrible. I'm just living under the assumption that the Jets have a pretty good idea. And again, what I don't want to happen, people might get mad, is if the Jets sign Carr, Rodgers gets traded to the Raiders,
Cut
and
Carr. No, just kidding.
everyone goes, the Raiders only gave up a 2 and a future 2.
I know.
Why did the Jets not do that trade? Well, it's a Tyreek Hill scenario. Tyreek Hill, could have went to the Jets. He didn't. And you have to live with that. And you have to look back and say, did the Jets do everything they could have to get him here? I think the Jets, the whole post like June 1st trade for Rodgers, where it would be more friendly for the team trading for him, I think the Jets would eat any cost to get him on the team pre the new year. Like you can do trades before the league year on March 14th, but it won't be official yet. So
no, I agree. I am at this point ready to risk it all for Aaron Rodgers, which is it's a very unconservative strategy. It's very aggressive.
yeah.
But there's
It's
one more
Austin
factor.
Powers. It's Austin Powers. I live dangerously, and that's where you're at right now.
Well, I'm usually more of a less of a risk taker, blah blah blah, just in terms of my personal life. But this, fuck it, go get it. What are you making a face? I'm not a risk taker.
You're at the bar at like 2:30 on like a
It's
Tuesday.
not risky. I can just
It's
go.
a little risky in New York City to be out of the bar at 2 a.m. on like a non-weekend.
I'll go to the bar. But there's one more factor. The other factor is that this is I don't know. I want to say it's a historically deep quarterback offseason where there's so many guys that are available where if you don't get Carr because you try to get Rodgers and then Rodgers spurns you, you can go get Jimmy G. And who knows? The Jets might be better next year with Jimmy G than Carr anyway. Probably not. Of course, I'd rather have Carr, but it's similar kind of guy. And if everything gets fucked and you don't get any of those guys, okay, now you get Ryan Tannehill. I'd rather have the option to get Aaron Rodgers than jump the gun and signing Carr with that backup plan than not.
I agree with your take. I completely agree with it. It takes time for people to get where you're going there because it is be aggressive for option A. If you do miss out on option B, the gap between B, C, and D isn't as far, right? That's the point you're trying to make. And I made that point on Twitter and people were not happy. I said 2 things can be true. If you miss out on Rodgers and Carr, not fun. But you can still get 2 guys. That is a huge upgrade over what you have today. And people are like, loser mentality, go fuck yourself. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm just being honest.
But what if you can also try to get Matt Stafford. You could try to get, one of these other disgruntled quarterbacks. You could try to trade everything for Lamar Jackson, of course. That's another option who the Ravens came out and said that they tried to include Lamar in their offensive coordinator search, and he wasn't very enthused about it. So,
well, I made the argument, I think it was early 2021, where Wilson was kind of looking shaky. And I said, it's not, if you fuck up the quarterback position, it's horrible for your franchise because you could take anyone else at number 2 overall, trade back. I get it. But it's not like 1995 where it sets your franchise back like 3-4 years. The quarterback movement is absolutely insane. You look at the past Super Bowl champions, the past 7-8 years, you have Stafford, a quarterback movement in the offseason. You have Tom Brady, Peyton Manning in 2015, obviously not a homegrown guy. And you kind of see these quarterbacks move pretty consistently. I mean, I'll take my chance with a guy if it really goes south in the offseason. You take a Tannehill or Jimmy G. Are we going to be happy about it? No, but it's an improvement over what we have. So
Yeah, and
maybe we
even
can get it going.
to your point, even looking at losers of the Super Bowl, teams that played in championship games, AFC, NFC championship games, Jimmy G, Ryan Tannehill, those are guys that moved to new spots and then went far into the playoffs. So
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson moved, even though he was a disgusting pervert. The guy, who would have thought? You would have said 3 years ago, Deshaun Watson is going to be a top 5 quarterback in the league for the next 15 years. New team. Weird things happen. Russell
Wilson,
Hall of Famer. Look, I mean,
my argument is the Zach Wilson collapse of his mental state, physically throwing the football 10, 15 years ago, it really would ruin everything. It would
yes.
ruin everything. And now the Jets have a chance to bring in a guy like Carr, bring in a guy like a Rodgers, that you don't just become a decent team. You become a top 5, top 7 team in the NFL that can win a Super Bowl. So look, the Carr news is good. It's a net positive all around. You make a great point. Carr could be sitting there across the table saying, "You guys don't even fucking want me. Why am I here?"
It's a weird timing. It's a weird timing for all this stuff. It just sucks that Rodgers has to come out on Tuesday. And the Jets are smart. You want to get Carr in the building. But it really is like you're going on a date with a girl, and then you have another date on next week that you're more excited about. But the girl that you're going out with today knows that you're going on a date next week. It's super
Mike, why
weird.
are you going out with 2 different girls, though? That's the question.
Why are the Jets trying to get 2 different quarterbacks? They're trying to get the best one. I'm looking, you know what I mean? You're trying to get the best possible outcome. But it's selfish. And of course the Jets are gonna, it's a business, you're gonna act in your own self-interest, but
it reminds me of your junior prom date. So Mike,
it's so good. The tweet was so good.
It would be actually fun to do a full breakdown, but the moral of the
We can
story
break
is
it
that
down.
Mike was asking out like the cheerleading captain to junior prom,
Oh, I love
and the
her.
varsity quarterback found out that morning and then took her to breakfast for a delayed opening because we didn't have school starting until like 9. Asked her out to prom, and then Mike, do you want to take it from there?
So it was like you said, delayed opening. I got to school early. I asked one of her friends to help me. We put a bunch of tennis balls in her locker and positioned them so that when she would open her locker, the balls would all fall out. And there was a note, and it said, "I finally got the balls to ask you to prom." Honestly, great idea.
Great
I think it was
idea.
my sister's idea.
And people forget we had economics period 1, and me and you were with a bunch of the upperclassmen, and we're all dapping you up. We're like, "Dude, huge move, you know." Yeah, you're gonna say yes, obviously. And then I look on Twitter and I see like, "Wow, I can't believe whoever asked me." I'm like, "Oh, not great." And I like looked at you. I was like, "I don't know how to tell you what happened." So then the whole moral of the story is that
he gave her like a fucking Snickers bar.
Yeah, not great.
Loser.
Not great. The moral of the story though is that in that scenario, she is Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And then you asked our friend out as like the backup option. She was like, that was like really fucking lame. Like, why am I the backup? But I'll go to prom, and that's gonna be Derek Carr.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good analogy. I mean,
it's really good. Man, it's a great second option. The other girl was like, again, is the equivalent of one of the better free agent quarterbacks of all time. That's pretty good.
yeah, but then she got hurt, which is a real thing. Remember, she had like a bum ankle. Now this is not a good omen because the
injured.
girl that you took the second time was on crutches the entire night.
She was on crutches. It was tough. No dancing.
You should clip that minute and a half and post that out. That like the story of what happened,
dude.
And
maybe they follow me on Twitter.
Maybe date number 1 will find out. And
I hope so. Maybe she'll come back.
She has like a 7-year long-term boyfriend.
Yeah, it's tough. It's like if Aaron Rodgers came to the Jets when he's 48.
All right. Any other thoughts on Carr? We can wrap it up there.
I mean, look, the good thing is we're in a very good situation. It's like 2 terrific quarterbacks. The Jets have a real good chance to get. It's encouraging that Carr is coming now. The Jets are on top of their game. They're on top of things early. We're in a good spot.
All right. I like it. Don't forget to hit like, comment, subscribe. I always hear those things when I listen to YouTube videos, and I never do any of them.
I don't think I've ever subscribed to anything. I don't think I even subscribed to our own channel. I should probably do it. Yeah.
I feel very hypocritical asking, but as you know, our demographic is ages 25 through like 28 male is 100% of our audience.
100%?
It's like not the age range, but the male. I don't think, we got to be better.
Gotta be better.
But hey, Our Sauce Gardner video of him having not given up a touchdown has our most views by far, which is
It was a good one.
ridiculous.
It was a
It's
good one.
hilarious that it took both of us to make that video. It's a 5-second video, and you made the back half, and then I made. We're
Just
idiots.
teamwork. Just teamwork.
Good teamwork. All right, Mike. Good talking to you, buddy.
All right, my friend.